years I've been in this industry, we've seen evolutions of methodologies of doing things, and the biggest changes that happened for the inventor community in the last 10 years, of course, is social media, from Kickstarter to the ability to promote yourself, and it's really leveled the whole playing field around the world. The other change is what's happened in the financial world, being able to raise funds by social media and getting smaller unaccredited investors involved. And then the other change was the patent law. So those are the big three changes that have happened. But back to what is going on, this level couple here is going to explain tonight is the ability now to communicate online and very quickly to different organizations has become the hugest asset there is. What used to take so much groundwork and ground time now can be done electronically. But you have to master those processes. And these people have. So I believe that's your introduction for tonight. Come on up. Folks, this is Karina and Jared Raven, the inventors of the Hang-O-Matic, the most wonderful thing to come along to help you make your shelves and your photographs straight. And
what are your problems?
I have problems.
No, it's a third time here.
It's empty.
And it's empty.
And so
Terrible.
I welcome you both back.
Thank you for having us.
I found it.
Of course. So nice to see you again. So nice. Ladies and gentlemen.
She just want to get ready. We'll stop at Home Depot and pick one up, but that
There you go.
never happens.
They're probably sold
Well,
out.
between packing and kids and life.
So my name is Jared Ravens. My wife of 10 years, Karina. 10 years ago, I invented Hang-O-Matic. No, not more than 10 years ago. In college, I invented Hang-O-Matic. And it was, I come from a family of tool stores. My grandpa owned a tool store, my dad owned a tool store, and I now work in a tool store. I mean, a large tool store now, but a tool store. And I basically put a bunch of tools together and created Hang-O-Matic. And essentially was to stop ruining my walls in college. So I had the dorm room with all the things that were hanging. I had shelves, I had mirrors. I had a mom that decorated, so I decorated. Sounds weird, but I had a cool dorm room. And we get back charged if we had too many holes in the walls. So I invented Hang-O-Matic to help do that. I have 2 patents. Interestingly enough, the one I want to use, I'm creating now, which is my second patent, which is Hang-O-Matic Stud. Hang-O-Matic Stud is an industrial version, a lot more expensive, with the stud finder built in, something beefier for a contractor or more of a professional. The one I created first was the one that I knew I could sell to the masses, and it is what we've done. So Hang-O-Matic has been in retail for 4 years. We're in 12,000 stores, roughly in 6 countries. We're right in the middle of trying to convince AC Moore to take Hang-O-Matic, and that's our Target. A lot of times what happens is...
Almost Target.
Yeah, almost
Maybe
Target.
another week we'll be on Target.com.
Something interesting that Karina and I did or wanted to do that wasn't the standard is we were looking for a licensing deal. We wanted to create a business out of it. And a lot of people said we couldn't, and I almost think like an inventor, that's not necessarily what we're good at. We're more good at creating and thinking and putting together, but we wanted to create a business out of it. And we started with one product, which people said we couldn't do. We didn't believe them. We're both hard-headed, thankfully. And after 4 years, we proved them wrong. We have a company, and I haven't quit my full-time job, but we have an assistant that comes to our house every day and helps us. We manufacture everything ourselves. We ship everything ourselves. We do all the accounting ourselves, all the receivables, all the payables. Every aspect of the company we do it ourselves. I have fulfillment for only one customer, and that's Bed Bath & Beyond, because they're a nightmare to deal with. Hopefully they're not watching this. Right?
Good people.
Right. Oh yeah, the buyer's awesome. But my point is licensing is a great option. For most people, that's okay. But what Karina and I teach and help people do is do it themselves, and not necessarily doesn't mean you can't license it, but not to hire that middleman to show the customer or the retailer your product. And the reason why we do that is no one has our passion. No one has the knowledge that we have. No one other than us will take no for an answer. We originally tried that, and I go through our failures. We failed for years before we were successful, but one of the failures that we found was distributors always take the path of least resistance. So if they're showing 10 products to their buyer at Bed Bath & Beyond, for example, if they get 3 yeses, they're happy, right? They walk out happy. But there's 7 products that might belong to 7 of you that got a no, and they wanted the yes, right? So they go for the products that are going to get yeses. They're not. The buyer says no, they go, okay, what about this product, right? Well, this is my baby, right? And no to me does not mean no. Actually, that's more like Karina. But anyways, that's good couple relationship. But so we kind of help people do it themselves, and because we have the experience of packaging and manufacturing and shipping and receivables and payables and pitching, we kind of created a YouTube channel called The One Pitch.
The One Pitch.
Formerly The Pitch to Get Rich.
Formerly The Pitch with Jared and Karina.
Right. We're trying to make it a little more palatable for multiple people, but we do a lot of YouTube. We actually only started it 7-8 months ago.
Yeah, something like that.
But we were trying to create free content for everyone to go to see what we did and how we did it. We didn't want to charge for it. We felt like people that asked us for money more than not were not honest. We always felt like people should be asking for money after they've done something for you. Right? So we do help people. It's not our main business, but we help people get into retail, and we don't ask for anything until we get a PO. And I always feel like that's who you trust. You trust the person who's asking for money after they've been successful, right? I'm not a fan of people who ask you money before they've done anything. That's personal, and that's how I feel. So, but Karina actually is the pitch master. I'm the fly meeting in person, polished closer. So why don't you talk about pitch?
So before I tell you how to pitch, our YouTube channel once again is The One Pitch. Please, 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 please subscribe to our channel. Hit the little bell button on the right. That way you get notified when we post new videos, and we try to post a new video every week. And if you watch our videos, please hit like, comment. If you engage with our videos, we will only increase the views, and only more people can learn how to get into retail and pitch their products. So, like he said, with distribution, why it didn't work for us, because those distributors have relationships with certain buyers. Well, I have 8,000 contacts on my spreadsheet with buyers. And people reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask me, can you introduce me to the buyer? Well, there's 8,000 people. I don't have 8,000 friends. I have relationships with our buyers. I don't know who your buyer is, or I don't know who your buyer is. So whatever distributor tells you I can get you into the store, that's not the case, because they don't have a relationship with 8,000 buyers either. Nobody does. So what I had to do is, rather than wait for these distributors to find my buyer, because it took 6 months before someone would come back and say, oh, the buyer said no. I'm like, okay, well, who was it? Oh, I can't tell you. Well, how do I know he said no? Right, so we decided, let's do this thing ourselves. So the way you pitch a product is, you have to tell anyone you're pitching, whether you want a licensing deal, or you want to get into a store, or you're looking for an investor, or you're looking for your neighbor to help you with something, you have to ask what it is you're looking for. Why should I give you the time to talk with you? What do you have to offer me, for me, to take time away from my job, from my kids, from my life, to talk with you? Why? So someone sent me a pitch yesterday and said, here's my PowerPoint. Oh, well, how do I know it's not a virus? Why should I open that PowerPoint? He didn't say anything. He just said, here's my deck. So the reason he sent me his email is because he was telling me he has trouble pitching retail stores. And usually when someone says that to me, I know the reason they're having trouble is because they don't know how to pitch. And when you're pitching anybody, you're selling yourself. For those of you who are in relationships, do you remember when you met your significant other? Crickets? Hello? Anybody?
A long time ago, yeah.
But you remember when you met your significant other, you pitched yourself why he should go out with you. Right?
You're talking to someone behind a computer, and more than ever, you're talking to a younger generation of buyers. I think our buyers that is it Home Depot are all in their 20s or out of college. So,
It doesn't.
But no, but I'm saying
matter.
you need to be. It needs to be something that's interesting to read. If it's check on my attachment.
Right.
That is sales. Sales 101 is you're not there. A lot of times what we say is you could put rocks in a great box, right? And people are going to buy the product. So the first thing you do is make an impression, or do something like Karina's saying, so that there's an attraction.
Right.
Right. Something.
Or a reason, an action, a call to action. Why should I open your email? Why should I read your deck? Why should I respond to you? Why should I give you time? My valuable time. Why?
In general, we say no attachments on a first email. Would you agree?
Yes.
We don't always agree. That's why I have to double
Right.
check.
Anytime you're reaching out to somebody, whether it's licensing or a retailer, whoever it is, don't attach anything. Because a lot of times that goes right into spam because of the firewall. So I always say when you're pitching somebody, just make it short and sweet like a first date. If you were previously divorced and have 8 kids, do you say that on your first date with this person you meet? You don't, right? So don't do the same thing with whoever you're pitching. You don't want to give the whole caboodle. You want to say, hi, I'm Karina. You know, I think this problem, blah, 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 blah. Don't you think that that problem happens to you too? I have this product that does X, Y, and Z. I want to send you a sample. What's your address? Not, can I send you a sample? You don't ask. You just offer.
Right, because you don't want to give them a reason to say no, thank you. It's
right.
May send it to, or you know, I'm going to send it to your address. You know, and not in an aggressive way, but like Karina said, we get a lot of messages on LinkedIn, on email, and Facebook, and you know, the ones that are this long, it almost feels obnoxious. What did you say?
Right.
It almost.
It has to be short and sweet.
Right.
And
to the point. Right.
You're welcome. You want me here?
Do you guys do all your pitching online? You don't do one-on-ones?
I have never picked up a phone to call anyone.
All the initial pitching to our major retailers is anywhere that is always started with email. Now, a lot of times, you know, like the Marmaxes, the Home Depots, they will then, after we're down the road, fly us in or fly me in for a presentation, and that's where it gets more personal. But regardless, I feel like most of these buyers now are college, are 20 to 40. They are email, they're on the computer all day, they're looking at reports, they're looking at an accounting software, right, they're looking at turns, they're not on the phone.
There's 60 of you, 100 of you calling the same day. So most of the time they have their phone where it goes straight to voicemail.
Right,
because
if they pick it up at all.
Right, or someone answers and says, you know, who's this, why are you calling? Oh, they're in a meeting right now. You know, they're just too busy. Can you imagine? If I called you 100 times a day, would you pick up?
No, but, so you're not talking about smaller businesses, you're talking about major corporations.
I emailed any store. I emailed Ace Hardware, I emailed...
Not like a mom and pop type thing?
I've never emailed them Pop and Shop because we wanted to get a larger order.
Right, for us we had so much money, I mean, we were looking for, we're in a Home Depot, Hobby Lobby, Container Store, Bed Bath Beyond, Mitri 10, I don't know if you know that.
We're not in any
Meyer,
boutique.
we're in just major
shop.
retailers. We were always looking for big.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like large retailers, of course. Yeah.
I went into the local Ace Hardware. That you could do that.
Yeah.
You could walk into, you know, your local Ace Hardware if you have a product that fits that category, their store. You could do that. But I emailed everybody. I emailed, and then they didn't respond, and then I emailed again, and then they didn't respond, and they emailed again, and they said, oh, I'm really busy. And then I emailed again, and I emailed my Bed Bath & Beyond buyer, hi Bill. I emailed him probably 50 times until finally one day he's like, okay, I'm so sorry, I've been so busy. I got your sample 8 weeks ago. It's, you know, on my desk. What's up? And then I'm like, oh. So I don't know if anybody did sales here. 1 second, but this sounds familiar. A salesperson always says, hey, I'm going to be in your neighborhood between 1 and 3. Do you think you have some time? Well, that is the cheesiest line, right? But he was flying to New Jersey to go on QVC, and Bed Bath & Beyond is in New Jersey. So I emailed Bill, and I said, hey, Jared's going to be in your neighborhood.
He said, yeah. So
He's going on QVC. I tried that with Target. She wouldn't meet with us. And we were going to go to Minnesota, too.
So if you're sending out that many emails repeatedly, you can't just say the same thing.
No, I do.
You do?
I just totally
I do. He hates that I do, but I do.
Because what I do is what she doesn't, husband and wife are not going to be husband and wife team. I pepper her with phone calls. So the other thing we do, which she didn't say yet, is even though a lot of the buyers are female, I like to call if it's a female, and she's better at calling if it's male. You know, it's one of those things where it's.
Yeah, but I start the pitch.
Oh.
But you never email anybody.
No, I like to call.
Right, but I would email.
Right, so we do a combination. It's mostly email, but I'm the one who takes the phone call. I'm the one who talks to the phone. I'm the one who presents always.
Right, so I emailed Home Depot,
But it was the same message all the time.
Let me tell you how my message is.
That's what I want.
My message is saved as a template in the Gmail account. Right? So I open Gmail and I hit insert message and it's already in there. And it's the only thing I change is hi John, hi Nancy. So
But what about the same? What
it's
about?
the same-
But what
it's
if you're
the
emailing
same
Home
pitch.
Depot over and over? What about the second Home Depot? So you're saying your email to Home Depot the second time is identical too?
no, if I'm following up,
Right,
then
that's
I'm
what he's
following up.
asking. So
But
the
my
se- so-
first
so-
initial is
Right.
is
So
a
she has a
pitch.
template she uses for all of her pitches, and then like we'll put in the calendar. So let's say we send an email on a Monday. I'm the calendar guy. Push it back 2 weeks in the calendar. 2 weeks in, she gets a notification to re-email again, and she'll change it up a little
But
bit.
it's the same pitch to Home Depot, same pitch to Target, same pitch to Hobby Lobby.
Right. She'll just change the
Same
verbiage on the
pitch.
second email.
I just changed Hobby Lobby doesn't have a picture hanging tool. Target doesn't have. So that's the only thing I changed. So all my template in my Gmail account is, is Target. So I hit, right? So all I have to do is change the name because copy paste 50 times. I'm not kidding. I emailed 50 people at a very, I just was talking about it. I emailed 50 people at Target, and within 10 minutes, my buyer wrote back and said, stop harassing my employees, I got your email. I saved that.
Yes, sir.
I was going to comment to you on that. We call that circle of influence. That it's actually, have you ever just contacted them first to get intel before you contact the buyer?
You're saying figure out who it
Figure
is.
out who the influencer, we call it the circle of influence, right? So you know who you want.
No, I
Right.
don't know who I want.
In a sense. Well, I mean, if you identify, let's say you don't.
You can't identify
But if you
who.
talk to some people around, right? The reason you go to the influencer is to get intel,
Yeah.
and to get information, and also to get advocacy for you eventually.
Correct.
First.
Right.
So intel first, like you're doing recon. Then from there you get intel of who the main person is, and then from there you circle in deeper. By the time you get to them, you already have 6, 7, 8 people that know who you are. To your example, which you're dead on, which you said was when you email them, give them something. So if you come in, it's like, hey, I talked to so and so and so, and we had this and this discussion, and we want to do X, Y, Z
Yeah.
with you guys. It's impactful.
Right.
To your point. But have you guys had? The point I was trying to ask is, have you done that? Have you seen?
No, it's very
some
difficult
trends?
to do.
Yeah.
Because the contact list I find
Yeah.
is, let's say there's about 200 retail buyers at Target,
Yeah.
right? And they're all titled buyer.
Yeah.
And,
Well-
even even buyer, even we get a more specific title, you're not going to get hand tool picture hanging buyer. You're going to get
Right.
tool buyer or home
Hardware
goods
buyer.
or housewares or something.
Yeah.
So I
very
don't
generic.
know who is my person
Yeah.
that buys a picture hanging tool. So if you go into, like for example, in Home Depot, if you go into Home Depot, there's little bays of 4
Yeah.
feet, and there's one buyer for that bay. So when people say to me, can you introduce me to your buyer, and they sell towels, no, my buyer is here.
Yep.
And then you have a sea of buyers, so I
Yeah.
can't introduce you to mine. And my buyer doesn't know your buyer, because they're not in the same, they don't sit next to each other.
What are you finding when you're asking some of these individuals that we'll call influencers if you can get a hold of them? How are they? Are they receptive to you?
I just say,
Yeah.
I pitch, and then I say I'm looking for help, and then
Yeah.
I tell them what I'm looking for, and then they all write me back, and they either forward my email to the right buyer. Most recently, I emailed the buyer on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
one product that I'm helping some inventor who's in Australia, and I wrote his pitch that I used, and I said I'm looking for somebody, and they said okay, I'm going to forward your email to that buyer. She didn't want to give me the name. That's okay. I emailed more people, and more people wrote me back, and I eventually got the name I needed.
Yeah.
But you use LinkedIn as the main platform?
I start with LinkedIn, and then we've gone to
We've also called the
Housewares
receptionist,
trade
shop
show, and
So you got a lot of recon you do.
Oh, yeah,
You
I'll-
get in there. You got your lot of influencers.
Absolutely, you
got
can call a
your-
receptionist.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, it's one of those things. It's
Yeah.
sales, which
Yeah.
which is not my forte. But
You do a good job though.
well,
You're a sales guy.
I have half of my life savings in there, so it makes it a little more easier to do. But we'll call receptionist. I think one of the big things to think about when you're pitching is the pipeline from the day you pitch to where you're going to ship an order could be 6 months, could be 2 years. So
Yeah.
don't wait. So don't wait. Start the process now. A lot of the retailers will ask you when are you available to ship. But unless you're so far away, you're still in production. A lot of people we talk to, great product. Well, I'm just not quite ready yet. I'm a few weeks away, or I'm a few months away. We'll start the process. That pipeline. You know, it could take 3 years to get to Home
3
Depot.
years to get into Home Depot.
Right. AC Moore been chasing for 5 years, and finally the emailed us back. And then she said our price is high.
Right.
Which is not.
She said our
But
retail price
our
was
retail
too high.
price is too high.
Meanwhile, we've sold nearly 400,000 units this year
Yeah.
at that retail price.
Or on track to. But
So why
So,
is there still?
one thing I would say, start doing it now. If those of you have the product, don't wait. There's nothing to wait for. Refine that pitch, nice and clean and short and succinct. Nobody likes to read a long pitch. Nobody does. It's just not what they're going through too much. They're going through too many things. So I have not quit my day job. I actually love my day job. This keeps me up at nighttime. This keeps me up at nighttime and keeps the cash flowing out as fast as it flows in.
Okay, so I gotta ask, about how many pitches did you think you actually had to go through before you got your first order?
Well, I mean, that's really hard to say. I focused on a store per day. So like I pitched Target on a Monday or whatever it was, and all day was just Target. And then if I didn't hear from anybody, but I did, then the next day it was Bed Bath & Beyond. So like from the House Rush Trade Show, because I got the list of so many people, I just went like spreadsheet, check, until someone wrote me back. So now AC Moore said, AC Moore lady, buyer, who wrote back and said the price is too high. Well, she was the second person I pitched. The first person I pitched 3 years ago to this day never wrote me back. He's the one buyer who hasn't. So then I started going after a new buyer. Okay, maybe he doesn't have any space, then let's move next to mirrors. Let's move to the checkout, whatever. So now she said the price is too high. If I can't close her, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna find another buyer, AC Moore, in a different department.
So all that persistence, how long did it take from your first attempt to finally getting your first order? Time-wise, how long?
So I think we started March of 2014.
We got the grommet really
Well, the
quick.
grommet didn't count. We didn't pitch the grommet
Oh, they found us.
from the show.
Right, the container
So
store.
but with the Ace Hardware we pitched. So I would say we started March of 2014, and we were in Ace Hardware January.
A lot of these processes, Karina starts the pitch, we get the attention, we get the interest, we get the price, kind of sort of set, and then I fly out there. So for Ace, for Bed Bath
flew out for
Beyond,
Ace.
for Home Depot,
That's it.
for Shopco,
We flew up the
and
shop
as
code.
soon as AC Moore says to me, no, of any kind, I want to get out there. I say to her, get him on the phone, because then I get on the phone. So it's practice, it's getting up here, it's getting used to being able to speak and communicate clearly, right, knowing limitations, and all these things we do, a distributor would never do. Keep in mind,
Right.
They're not going to throw. I mean, her and I are throwing things at the wall constantly, but this is ours, right? If we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
Are we going to witness this tonight, or you can actually give us the pitch that you use for
Oh, you should do it,
the
baby.
product?
Sure.
She probably should.
Yeah, just a detail. On the first email, you said you never included an attachment, but you include a photograph.
No,
Nothing.
Nothing.
I have an embedded video from our reality TV show. It's
a link.
It's
Correct,
well,
yes.
it's in my signature, so it comes over. It's not an attachment.
Just if you're blindly emailing people, you want to reduce the risk of it getting caught up in a server. It's Home Depot's. Their IT department is is a monster. So thing attachments, photos. You don't waste your time. If you put your pitch together in a succinct, clean way, and it's something they're interested in, eventually could take a year. They're going to respond. But you don't want it to go in a black hole of thinking they're just not responding either. So it's always better to keep it simple, like I said, clean, no attachments.
The one thing you could do is if you post this picture of your product somewhere online, like your website, you could go to Google Images to get the link of where the picture is sitting. So it's not like, here's a link to my website. I hate when people do that. They're
Right.
like, please, can you review my product? Here's the link.
Gotcha.
No. So anytime you email anyone, you have to sell. You have to give value. You have to. The biggest thing, you have to be relatable. So the first buyer I pitched at Bed Bath & Beyond, he wasn't interested. That's probably because he was a handy guy. He could hang a picture with his eyes closed, and it's not a product he would use.
It's not true values, like you said.
Whatever it was, what?
Right, so problem solution. So you have to create a relatable problem, right? Identify a relatable problem, and then the solution.
Are these elevator pitches? Are these 5-minute pitches?
Yeah, elevator
Are they 2
pitches.
minutes?
These
They're
are several sentences, a few sentences.
It's like 60 cents, but it's 250 words.
So keeping it down to 2 minutes or 1 minute.
Usually way shorter than that. It's a
I mean, I can read it in 30 seconds. I could say it to you right now.
It's a 30-second read.
Yeah.
So it's your introduction.
Yeah, it's introduction. It's getting the interest, getting them to respond to say I'm interested, and then go into detail.
Well, would you do this honor of actually giving us
Do you know about
what
her,
you
babe?
sound like?
Yeah, of course.
Well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, buyer. My name is Karina, and my husband invented the Hang-O-Matic. Isn't it difficult to hang pictures straight the first time? Well, that's why he invented the Hang-O-Matic, an all-in-one picture hanging tool that measures, levels, and marks the wall all at the same time. Hobby Lobby has pictures, frames, mirrors, shelves, full store of all decorative items. Actually, 80% of your customers, when they leave the store, leave with something to hang. But there's nothing in your store that helps them hang it straight the first time. I would love to send you a sample. Please, let me know the address, and I'll send you a sample right away.
Yeah! See?
I mean, that was less than a minute.
We sell 4,000 homes at Hobby Lobby. That's one of our best customers.
You talked about the problem,
Yep.
you talked about your product, and you put it in their court saying, what do you think?
And also, she connected that everyone there is it has these pictures, right? So they have these things, and now you want to do an
Sorry?
upsell.
It's a real pain.
I was
She's
gonna
trying
say,
to tell
I
us.
would
She goes
definitely
shops
buy
crazy.
that because I do home stuff all the time and I
Right.
would definitely buy that.
Thank you.
And they're missing her.
Thank
Meaning
you.
like your buyers are missing and there's a
Thank
lot
you.
of these.
But see, you have to give the pain and you have to put the person that you're pitching, even if you're looking for a licensing deal, you have to put that person in the shoes of what was your problem when you created it.
Right, for Home Depot it was you have a picture, you have a 4-foot section full of picture hanging anchors, but you have no tool to show where to put the anchor.
Do you guys use social media influencers? Because there's a lot of people I watch on YouTube that do a lot of decorating and things like I watch YouTube. That's all I watch really is YouTube.
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
So do you guys use a lot of social media influencers because they can be
I
very
tried,
pivotal?
so I realized, not to put anyone down, but if they only have like 5,000 followers, we didn't see any value. It just wasn't enough people.
What about the ones who, because I watch a lot of them who have like, 5 million, 2 million.
Here in San Diego even.
I would love to know who that is.
Well,
I'm Russian. I just sent it to the crazy Russian hacker. You know who he is? I'm Russian, and I made my assistant write a note to say I'm Russian. Try to use that in his YouTube.
Yeah, I know
check
people
it out.
that have at least a couple 100,000 followers, and I watch a lot of YouTubers, so that's why I'm saying social media influencers I know are becoming really, really big.
Right, but then they want to get paid $5,000.
Right, so beginning, especially when it was our money,
Maybe at least mention your product, say like, hey, they send people products.
but they charge you for that look.
I've done that. So I do PR.
Yeah.
Like that's what I do on a daily basis. Like you could get free media yourself. We've been featured in Huffington Post and Entrepreneur Magazine, and he was featured in the Inventors Digest. It was a 2-page spread, and so we do all that. And I've done bloggers, Insta stories, and Instagram. There was one YouTuber who went to Home Depot and bought it herself, and we just happened to see it.
Yeah.
But I reached out to a few, and they sent me a media kit, and I'm like you, like we don't have any money,
Right.
If your target audience is a millennial or Gen Z, you have to be on social media. What we ended up doing ourselves was, because we didn't want to pay anyone because it was our money, is we started our YouTube channel. So our views are, we just started 7 months ago, and if you look at the one pitch, we're getting between like 6,000 and 30,000 views per post.
Awesome.
And if you watch, you'll see we talk about some important topics, but remember, it has to be entertaining. So be aware, we're ourselves. So it's 40% us being husband and wife, little banter, but we post content that we've learned through our trials and tribulations. And we also do Facebook Live on Fridays. So every Friday we do a Facebook Live.
We
We
podcast.
podcast every Friday. We're part of the, what's it called, Mike?
Inventors
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 Launchpad.
Launchpad. So we do that every Friday.
I blog, so you could go to theonepitch.com, and I blog on how to get into. I blog how to get into Walmart. I did step by step how to get into Walmart. You can actually get into Walmart today if you wanted to, or Ace Hardware. So we give so much free information, and then when I reach out to these bloggers and YouTubers, and they're like, "Here's my media kit," I'm like, you know what? F you, because I give so much for free, and everything we do for free, and they can't. I'm gonna give them free product, and they have to send me a media kit. Have you heard of Fire? You just got me fired up. Have you heard of Entrepreneur on Fire?
No, actually.
It's a very popular podcast. I was so excited. I'm gonna start crying. I emailed him on LinkedIn. He wrote me back, gave me his email address, and said, "I'd love to talk with you." I was like, "Hey, what?" You know, I was like, "Look who wrote me that bitch." I was just so excited.
And I don't have to use
And then I got the email, and it said $5,000, and then you have to apply. Like $5,000. My sister was on this podcast 5 years ago, so she was excited. "Oh my God, John, where are you back?" And it said, "As of April 10th, we now charge $5,000, and you have to apply." I emailed him April 13th.
All right, so we advocate, basically our thing
So,
is
like-
do it yourself. We advocate do it yourself and
So
try to teach you how.
it's like charging for advertising like they do
Yes.
commercials.
Correct.
Because it's becoming so big. there's
Right.
social media
But
for it.
$5,000?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So the thing that I say is, if you have money to burn it on yourself. I'm not gonna, if I have $2,500 to give to a YouTuber, I'm gonna take that $2,500 and I'm gonna do Facebook ads.
And buy shoes.
Myself. And business.
Shoes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if someone's charging you something, just use that for use it for yourself.
But only because there's a lot of free content out there if you can find the right people to.
So on your pitch where you had some of those statistics, are you going into the store and taking kind of just a quick look-see and see approximately what percentage and blah, blah, blah?
Oh, I take
Yeah.
pictures and I send the picture. The AC Moore lady, so the one thing that Hobby Lobby did, because it was really hard to get into Hobby Lobby, we were at the Houseware Show 2015, and have you ever been to a trade show?
No.
So like we wouldn't leave. I'm like, I gotta be.
Right, trade show stuff
People,
are key to
it's
getting
packed,
contact.
I'm
If you
moving.
if you have a product ready to go, find that trade show that relates to the product
Absolutely.
and talk to everyone.
Well,
And that
it's
makes some of
very
the
much
some of the introductions too, because you can say,
Right.
I was with your people at this trade show.
Yes.
They never remember I say that anyway.
No, but
I always
just,
say,
yeah,
hey, we
yeah.
met at the show,
Right.
but no, we didn't.
Yeah.
But with Hobby Lobby, my mouth was full. I was having lunch at the booth. She was walking by, and she had her hand on her name tag, and I saw Hob. And I remember this as if it was yesterday. I'm eating, and he was standing there like, what's going on? And I see her walking by, and I saw Hob, and I'm like, Hobby Lobby!
As lettuces.
And I'm like,
Did I run after her?
and he ran after her. And I reminded her, like, hey, I emailed you, the whole thing, and she goes, how much? I was like,
What?
but now I'm done,
Right to the point, huh?
Straight to the
Denise,
point.
she's tough.
And we danced with her about price for 6 months. I'm like, I already told you, like, why are we doing this again, So finally, I said to him, I don't think she likes me. And he emailed, and she sent the PO. She and I were emailing that day.
I was very charming with her, that's why.
And then he emailed and was like, boom, closed, done. But anyway, so now
So do you think that's a
they added more
skill
products
set
to the checkout area.
know that?
So now they added more products to sell with Hangomatic.
Right, every Hobby Lobby in the country, Hangomatic sits at the end cap, and then if you look, there's all picture hanging products around it. It's our second biggest customer.
But you go in though into these places and you kind of just take a little visual inspection of about 80% of these products need to be hung.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, to be honest, we're salespeople, so half of it we just make up off the top of our heads.
Yeah. But they have to be.
But yeah, I mean, like for example, we're
I
thinking
made that
about.
up. I don't know if it's 80%.
Right.
But
It
So-
seems
right.
high, but
Right, wait,
I
wait.
have you ever been to Hobby Lobby?
Oh yeah,
There's a lot
it seems high, but
It's
Right now
one
we're
thing-
looking, so Staples started putting picture hanging sections in. So we took a picture of it, and we kind of analyzing it. So what I would do is, different than her, after we get a little interest, I would send a picture and show that you already have the set. Now add the item in there that's $14.99, and get, because, every space in a retail store has a value, right? It has a value, it has expected turns, right? So Hobby Lobby being at the register, my turn should be 6 times quicker than if they were buried in an aisle somewhere.
And he just made it up to 6. We don't actually know. This is how we're selling.
Well, every single part of the store has a value. So depending on where you are in the store, the turns have to equal the spacing, of course. So yeah.
Have you done your pitch on QVC? You guys were talking about.
I've been on QVC 4 times.
And how did the pitch go there?
You can't pitch on QVC.
No,
Okay.
QVC is, you know, I had to get, I flew out there, I had to get trained and certified. It is by far the most terrifying experience. 4 times in a row,
Yeah.
I go out and I wear a tank top and it's just dripping in sweat. It is the most terrifying experience ever, every single time. Because think of the future shot, possible future shot, current shot. You're looking at all times, right? You can't see. Then I have someone talking in my ear, and then you have usually 2 boom cameras. You have handheld cameras. You have a mobile camera, and there's lights, so it's hot, it's sweaty, and it's live, right? 8-second delay.
And then you can't like interrupt the person you're with.
The host.
Well, no, yeah,
The
right. So
host.
that's
So
part
you
of
have to,
like training on
watch the
this.
cameras, listen to her,
Right, it is very
listen
stressful.
to the.
I've been on QVC UK. That was actually a lot easier. They were sweeter and the food was good. But yeah.
And they tell you 5 days before you're on. So
Alright.
he was like, I'm going to UK, buy a ticket. I'm like, okay, well, it's $3,500 because you're flying in 5 days. It's just so fast you can't prepare for
How
something.
about,
How
tell
about
us a little bit
DRTV?
more, was it a qualification of QVC that you actually have inventory ready to go?
Yeah, well, so QVC you ship. It's a tough one. So they're very difficult to deal with. We had to ship 5 months ahead of time. Was it 4 months ahead of time?
Well, no, it's because we labeled it wrong.
No, even this last order I had shipped it way before.
Oh,
Anyways, so
Oh,
the lead
okay.
time you ship months before you go on. They have to receive it, and they're shipping standards. So I
And they
read
keep
these
it.
routing guides. So when you go to a retailer, heck yeah, I got a PO, but then they send you a 180-page routing guide. That's another language you have to go through and understand. Because some of these companies, in my opinion, like QVC, they make money on these back charges. I mean, thousands of dollars of back charges. We have stories on back charges. So they send you these routing guides, and you're expected to read it and apply it to your product. Well, it's giving products on all categories, you know, all cautions, whether it's food or whether it's perishable or whether it's a caustic. So you have to understand them, and you know, I go through them 10 to 12 times with a highlighter until I understand what I'm doing. So QVC, you ship way ahead of time. They have to load them in the system, they call it, and then you go and you perform, and you get paid 120 days after your appearance. So right now,
and then only on what sold.
on what's sold.
They subtract what's returned.
Right, and subtract what's returned. Right now, QVC has roughly like 20 grand of inventory just sitting in their warehouse. I'm just waiting for the airtime.
Right.
It's
So
been
it's like
sitting
9 months then after you've shipped it to them, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
on some of it.
The first
right.
order
The last
was there
order-
from April to September.
Right, so I have
First
inventory there
order.
now. I haven't been called to go on air yet, but I had to ship it. I don't have an air date.
And that was
But I should
January.
have inventory in January,
So
waiting
it's
for an
just
air
sitting
date.
there.
And when they give it to me, they'll give me 5-day notice, and I'm going to pay a fortune to fly out there. But it's QVC. What are you going to do?
What's the routing guide? I don't know. I just don't.
So once you get into, let's say, Home Depot, you get a PO, well then what do? Right? So the routing guide tells you how to ship it from A to B, how to label it, how to box it, who to call, when to call. So Home Depot, for example, is a very complex one. They have 4 different portals you have to go into to grab the PO,
Accept it.
accept the PO, log into their logistics system to give the dates.
Of when it's being shipped.
Right, and then get the codes on, so you figure out, is it going truck line, is it going UPS, is it going FedEx,
Tracking number.
is it going, so the routing guide gives you a complete guide on every single aspect of shipping, receiving, notifications, etc., labeling. So every big retailer has its own labeling. So I created spreadsheets and labels, and luckily now my assistant helps me with it because it's overwhelming, but every single retailer, I have 2 cabinets with labels for 18 retailers, right? So I get a Hobby Lobby order, I have to make this label, and inner pack, outer pack, master case. I get an order from the grommet, I have to make this label, this label, this label. So that's why you don't want to do your own.
And the reason it's 100 pages is because there's no tab picture hanging, right, for our product. So you have to go through 100 pages to find what fits our product. Because like for QVC, if you're jewelry, you do this. If you're beauty, you do this, right? So then he has to figure out where does he fit, because it's not hardware. It's not. There's no. You know when you buy a house and they highlight where to sign. Yeah, there's none of that.
The irony is we feel like we had to pitch it in order to be successful. So we pitched it. It was the only option we had. We tried it the other way, and Evelyn said no. So we pitched it ourselves, and thought, let's create our own business. So this is something, you know, we decided to do.
And the other way was what? What didn't
To
work?
have a distributor.
Have a distributor. So we started with distributors, and they gave us no's. They said no. Bed Bath & Beyond said no to them. They said yes to us. Who else?
Menard said no to distributor.
And yes to
And
us.
then we waited 6 months, and then I found the buyer who said no. And Jared got on the phone with that buyer,
Right,
and that
Ace
buyer
Hardware said no to
tried
them,
to
yes
say
to
no,
us.
and then Jared got into a fight with that buyer. And then he got a payout. This is
Oh, yeah, Menards.
this
Oh,
is
they're
our
tough.
life.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't here last month.
Uh-uh.
Oh, we sold our house. We
Yeah.
sold our dream house that we
Yeah.
built from dirt
Yeah.
and took pictures of it every single day.
Yeah.
We sold that house because we got a Bed Bath & Beyond PO and we couldn't afford the inventory.
And we didn't want to partner.
So this is why often we license.
Correct. That's.
This, I mean,
Right.
it's such, this
But we wanted
such
our own, and we wanted a business. And the licensing deals, I didn't think, for the amount of effort I put into it and how successful I thought it could be, I wasn't okay with 4 or 5% and walk away.
Right.
But you know, that's who I am. That's who we are. We're also on the aggressive side. So.
Have you guys done anything in DRTV, or is that?
They didn't think it was a
The
DRTV
category.
product,
Right.
or they wanted us to pay $25,000. I once got into a swimming match with a DRTV guy because he was like, "This product is so good." I was like, "Well, if you think it's so good, then you upfront the money, and we will pay you whatever it's sold."
So you wouldn't have gone to like an All-Star? And you
We
went
did.
Their typical
We
deal?
did.
And
We met with
they
them.
offered us a 5% to walk away. Now the problem with
5%?
a 5% royalty to walk
That's
away,
really high.
really 5%.
5% is really high.
So the problem with it for me is if you do DRTV, they're taking on the retail,
Yeah.
and the money's in the retail.
Right.
DRTV they say is a wash pretty much if you're lucky.
Right.
I want the retail. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What's the back charge you're talking about? Is something about back charge?
So I'm shipping I got into Menards after years of her and I harassing them. July I'm shipping them 7,000 units roughly.
No, saying what's back
I'm
charge?
gonna get that.
Oh, I didn't know you shipped it already?
No, it starts in July.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about
You
QVC.
can
That's
tell
a
you
really
got the
interesting
business
story.
partners together.
I know, really. Well, her and I have very distinct roles. I shouldn't say that. In paper we have distinct roles. It blurs constantly. But so a back charge would be I ship something and I put the label in the wrong corner, and they put on the conveyor belt and it doesn't scan properly, so they have to do something manual, and I'm being back charged.
Right, so that's what happened with QVC.
So
I
at
thought you
first,
were-
no, I didn't get there yet.
we just have to go
This is us on YouTube, by the way.
So
So
it is, I've seen it.
right, so this is what we are. So on QVC, the very first order I sent them, I put a couple days before the air, I was sitting in the Bed Bath & Beyond parking lot, going to pitch them. It was huge for us.
You were going on TV.
Or no, but I was at Bed Bath & Beyond
Oh, right,
parking
right,
lot,
you were
about to
pitching
walk
that.
into my meeting,
Right.
and they call me and say, "You put the sticker on the long side of the box. Had to be on the short side of the box." I go, "Oh, no problem. I work construction supply. I'll be there in an hour. I got my gloves. I'll fix it." Oh, no. $100 an hour. And we'll fix it for you. Minimum 10 hours. And it'll take us about a week. I'm like, "But I'm here now. You called me 5 days ago. It was a $30,000 flight." What are you going to do?
So they shipped it back.
So it's cheaper for me to ship it back to California from Pennsylvania, do it myself, and that was about principle at that point, right? I think I saved $50, but I just cut the sticker, put it on the other side of the box, and shipped it right back.
And paid $1,000.
Right. So that's a back charge if you're doing something that's not correct on their shipping guidelines.
So you think that's
Paid
profit center?
$1,000 and
I think that's how the DCs
until they got a new
create
date in
revenue.
September.
That was a lot of companies that do these things, by the way.
Right.
We just love pain. right? But a lot of companies you could hire will teach you how to do all these things, by the way. So it's not as, it doesn't have to be. Yes,
That's
sir.
really funny.
In that example, people just sent them a test, label, and
Is this
had
right?
them kind of do that, or?
There is
Wait,
test.
you want to talk about that?
No, there is test labels, but
Let
there's
me
not
tell
a
you that
test
story.
shipment. They expect you. I mean, you remember we're Korean and Jared. Our assistant works in our den in our office. We have we set up a nice thing, but most of the companies we're dealing with are billion-dollar companies. If you go to a Home Depot and you go to the picture hanging set and you look at there, I'm surrounded by 3 billion-dollar companies, and then there's our product. So these big companies, they don't have these problems. They really don't. And I don't have these problems anymore, but it's been years now, getting more and more familiar. I mean, at the beginning it cost me a fortune. But I'm surrounded by companies that just have people that know these routing guides. I could have also hired a fulfillment center. But the fulfillment center cost me 12 to 18% of the profit.
Plus $500 to have an assistant.
So, I was, at one point we were $500,000 into this thing. And I wanted that money back. And I didn't want to give away 15% of it. So we did it ourselves. I mean, probably made way more mistakes than we should have, but that's how you live and learn. And that's why we do the YouTube channel. We talk about our mistakes and how to do it right now, from now on. Yes, sir. Okay. Any other questions?
I'll tell you one more story if you want to.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Have you pitched on for the TV? Did you say that? I didn't hear that. Did you?
Yeah, the first TV show. So to quickly tell you a quick story. When we first started, I was watching Shark Tank, and I'm watching, and Mr. Wonderful says to somebody, "Have you been to a trade show? What's a trade show?" So then I Googled trade show, found the Housewares trade show. He comes home. I'm like, "Babe, we're going to the Housewares show. It's $5,000. No big deal." And he's like, "No, I'm not going." So it's been 14 years now that he's invented the Hang-O-Matic sitting in our kitchen. So I'm like, it's time to go to a show, show it to buyers, and see if anybody is interested. If not, we will never breathe the word Hang-O-Matic ever again. So that happened from Shark Tank. After that, we got a call from the Grommet I was telling you about. So the Grommet is a great, great online retailer. They sent us a PO for 600 units. He said, "Don't do it." And I said, "No, we're doing it. We only had 600 units." I said, "We're doing it to see if it's a good enough product. Like, let's see if it sells." That SHIT sold in 1 hour.
They did a mass email like to millions of people, and they sold out in an hour.
And they sold us a new PO for $250,000.
And I couldn't ship it in time, so we lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say?
It was a $250,000 PO. They needed in a couple weeks.
That we lost.
That we lost because we weren't ready for it.
We couldn't make 30,000 units that fast.
Yeah.
But during that time, we got on a show called Quit Your Day Job with Randy Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg's sister. And it was an investment type of show, and they didn't want to invest in us. They picked someone else. And we're like, "Do you know who we are?" Like, they didn't like how we are. They actually said that we don't think you're like the right entrepreneur.
Or a temperament or something.
Like, they didn't like our personalities, and we're like, "All right, let's go." And after that, every time we got into a new store, I tagged her. Remember me? I was like, "Yeah." And now we're in 12,000 stores. Like,
we've been on a bunch
you
of
don't
runs.
like me?
Steve Harvey's
I wouldn't be where we are.
we do that because it helps our sales and it's free. We don't have a marketing budget, so we've been on like 4 or 5 now.
Elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch.
Entrepreneur elevator pitch.
Yeah.
The biggest one was Steve Harvey's Thunderdome that aired last June.
Yeah.
And that was ABC. So we would pitch Shark Tank, and we didn't get on Shark Tank. And then, like, right the same as we pitched Shark Tank, we got on Thunderdome. Yeah.
So you guys don't have you don't spend any money on advertising at all?
We do.
Facebook ads.
Facebook ads. Yeah,
Because they charge you for those ads on Google and
well, they charge you for any advertising.
I mean, we have enough. We have enough now distribution where we're in a lot of stores. People go to our box, they go to our package, they find us. Her and I have been on some reality shows, so people find us. But we spend more money now. But but we have enough views where I feel like it's kind of snowballing a little bit.
So I do a lot of. I try to do a lot for free. So if anyone here has a product, Google Maps. You could create a Google Maps, Google My Business, that's free. Like, your LinkedIn profile should be all about your product, that's free. Your Facebook page, we go for free first, right? I mean, and then if I have to pay.
When you're pitching on your Facebook ads, you were just saying that, do you have an online retailer, or are you just making your product aware? I was just curious.
On my Facebook ads?
Yeah, like your Facebook. Are you trying to get e-commerce sales, or are you trying to just get your product
You're directing to the
aware?
retailer.
So
what is the pitch there?
You go to the movies,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You see Geico,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Okay, so it's not going to an e-commerce site.
It is, it's going to Amazon.
Okay, no, that's not
It's
true.
going down.
That's not true. Let me
It
tell
does
you
go to
how
Amazon.
we
link
do
is
that.
Amazon.
So this is how this is our manipulation of retailers. So we just got, so Target said no,
Okay.
but we'll try you online. We get that a lot. We'll
Yep.
try you online. So then what we do is we artificially pay for ads. We drive ads to the .com, and we do it for months. So we've done that many times. So so the Facebook ad will then still link to Target.com, and we'll start generating sales on their .com, and then we wait 3 or 4 months, and we can, hey, look, we're killing it here.
Right, so I did that
The reason
for
I'm
Home
saying that to
Depot.
you is your product resonated with my wife very, very much.
Well, she's a genius. I can
Well,
tell
no,
here.
the point I'm trying to make is I think for normal people it resonates 110%. I can't tell you how many sticky things I've had to put up on the freaking wall
Yeah.
for her that do not freaking work, right? So as a husband, I would be buying your product.
Well, I
just
appreciate
to
it.
not have to do that. The point though is that's why I asked about the Facebook pitch, right? There's no more better validation than to go direct to the consumer to prove they want it.
Right.
So artificial it may be, but it's real.
Correct.
Because you're telling them, you're the buyer, but you don't understand the real consumer and how they feel.
Right.
Because the first question you ask me is price.
Right.
I've dealt with Home Depot, Lowe's, and Menards through international markets. That's the first thing they ask.
Yeah.
They never ask me the quality, they never ask
Yeah.
me
Right, they never
you know,
ask.
how good
Right.
this product is. But
Yeah.
Made in America, by the way,
Well,
87%.
for my Facebook ads, like you heard my pitch, it's a pitch on Facebook ads, so I'm relatable to the person. I spent $10,000 learning how to do Facebook ads until I
that's why I was
finally,
asking that.
until I finally saw people comment and say things like, I was promoting Bed Bath & Beyond, and people would say, oh, I'm going to Bed Bath & Beyond right now. Somebody once said, oh, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond, and I didn't see it. And I'm like, oh, cool, thank you for telling me. What store was that? Called the store. Hey, I'm Hangomatic. Someone came into your store and said XYZ. Oh, yeah, it was an accident. It was in the hangar area. We'll move it. So, you know, I started connecting with these people because I said, it's at Bed Bath & Beyond. Well, so right now, I'm doing Amazon. And if you do a video, I'm paying 1 penny per view.
That's a whole different thing.
click-through.
Once you start fine-tuning your ads, you really can maximize the ads for very
Right, so
little
that's all
dollar
I
cost.
do in terms of
Yeah, let's wrap it
advertising.
up.
The rest I try and do for free, like
Okay.
media and stuff.
And you are finding Facebook is a good value?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this one video is at 100 shares and 70,000 views in 6 months. Is that $900? It's pretty cheap.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Right, any other questions?
No questions?
Awesome, great job guys, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Way to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.